Okay. So, why are you falling? Yeah, you guys all right? Why are you?
I have a question. How many also because people dishonest? Why are you making money?
All right. So, maybe something. So, refresh my memory. What have we been working on?
Oh, that
Classifying quadrilaterals. So, to this point, what quadrilaterals have we dealt with? We want rhombus. Pass it off. Give me another one. Pass them off. What's another one? Square. Pass it off. Oh.
I don't know.
Okay. So, Nina, give me another one. Here, let's do this one, since we don't want to hurt anybody. Trapezoid. Pass it off. Here we go. Who's next? Square. Can we say that one?
Yeah.
Triangle. Triangle. Give me another one. Kite. All right. So, have we got any more? Did we get them all?
No.
No? All right. Here we go. Pass them off. Somebody hasn't got it. Put your hands down if you can. Good try.
Rectangle.
Rectangle. Is that it? Okay. So, we have. All right. So, we've got quadrilaterals. Can't spell it. Quadrilaterals. Then we've got rectangles, we've got rhombuses, we've got squares. All of these are under the family of, or subfamily of what? Parallelogram. Okay. Okay, so we went quadrilaterals and parallelograms. If it wasn't a parallelogram, you need another type. Trapezoid was one of the ones that we dealt with. And we will deal with today. And then the last one was a kite. Okay? Now, we will have one more category under trapezoid. And then after today, we will be able to go back to the Venn diagrams we started this unit with, and we'll be able to fully complete it. And it will be a comprehensive and accurate Venn diagram. With this, excuse me, I got a little bit of a sore throat. With this, we did some other things. What else did we do? We not only classified these things, but we did what? How to prove it. Prove what? Prove what is what? How to prove. Okay. How many ways did we have that? 5. So we went through 5 ways to prove quadrilateral. Oops, I can't spell it. Quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Okay. Do you remember all 5? Hopefully. Got it. Who's got the ball? Red ball. You lose it? Got it. Give me one.
One side is parallel and congruent.
Okay. Prove one, just one side?
Yeah, one pair of
sides is parallel and congruent. Okay, that's all.
We need
prove that 2 pairs of opposite Prove that two pairs of consecutive angles are supplementary.
I know where you're going with that. If we prove a pair of consecutive angles are supplementary.
Prove both pairs of opposite angles are congruent.
Okay, both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. Now, let me go back to that one, because that is a possibility. We kind of talked about that, but we could add this in. Because what happens if I prove that consecutive angles are supplementary? What does that prove? Yes. So we might use that to prove that two sides are parallel. So you actually get two there. Okay. So prove, and instead of just one pair is congruent and parallel, two pairs of opposite sides parallel. And we could use consecutive angles being supplementary. Okay, that might be a possibility too. Okay, so we got 3 of these done. We need 2 more. Pass it off. Give me another. Excuse me.
Prove that the diagonals bisect each other.
Okay, prove the diagonals bisect each other. All right, one last one. Oh, Heather. Sure.
Prove both pairs of opposite sides are congruent.
Both pairs of opposite sides are congruent. Very good. Okay, so those are the 5 ways. Now, where did we get these 5 ways? What did we start with first? Yes, once we did one of these, we then knew that we had 6 important facts about all parallelograms. Okay, and we listed those. Do we need to go through those again? No? Right. Sure? All right, we'll go through real quick. We won't write them down. We just know that they have to be updated. What's one? Both pairs of opposite sides of congruent. Keep going on.
Both pairs of opposite sides are parallel.
2.
Consecutive angles are supplementary.
3.
Both pairs of opposite angles are congruent.
4.
The diagonals bisect.
5. One more.
Each diagonal creates 2 congruent strings.
Excellent. Excellent. Very nice. Good study. All right. So we did that. We started with knowing that we had a parallelogram. We actually started with a quadrilateral. There wasn't much there. We said that was a 4-sided polygon. Then we went into a parallelogram. From that, we said, well, what happens if we don't have it? We got to prove that's a parallelogram. Then, from proving that it's a parallelogram, the other night you had some homework that did what? Classified what? Classified the quadrilaterals as
best as possible.
And which classifications do we have to this point?
You have rectangle, rhombus, square.
Parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, and square, and then the 5th classification, which is quadrilateral, if it doesn't fit in any of those 4. We have not gotten to the trapezoid to the kite. We will do those today. Okay, so we know what it means to prove that a quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Well, how do I determine if it is a rectangle? Pass it off. Give me the 6. Give me somebody else. I don't care who it is.
Diagonal are congruent.
Okay, prove that the diagonals are good. Well, you missed that. What else?
Diagonal bisect.
Is that gonna prove that we have a rectangle? No, that one would prove that it's parallelogram. Which is okay, because what's the very first thing we must have for a rectangle?
Or the
We have to prove that first, above everything else, is that it is a parallelogram. And then we can either check one of two things. One, the diagonals are congruent, or very nice. Or we can check consecutive sides being perpendicular. How do we check the perpendicular? What about the slope? Negative reciprocal slope. Very nice. Okay, well, what happens if it's a parallelogram but it's not a rectangle? Does it have to be a round? How do we know it could be a round?
All four sides are congruent.
Okay, so first we said, okay, it is a parallelogram. And then, did we say we had to check all four sides?
No.
Just two consecutive, okay? So we could have done consecutive sides are congruent. What if we didn't check consecutive sides are congruent? What's the other way to do it? Very nice. Okay. Well, what happens if we prove that it's a parallelogram? It doesn't fall into one of these, and it doesn't fall into one of those. It's just a parallelogram. But what happens if we get a yes, and a yes? Square. It's a square. Okay? So the classification for a square is that it's got to be a parallelogram. It has to be a rectangle. And you said it also has to be a line. Okay? Now, does it matter which order we check? Do I have to check rectangle first before rounds? No. I could check rounds before rectangle. It doesn't matter. Okay? And that's where we left off. Now, we really have two more things, and that covers all of the quadrilaterals that we possibly can in this unit. Doesn't finish the unit, we still have a lot of work to do. But after today, we will be able to say, have the same rule that you had for the last night's homework, which, by the way, before we get too deep into these, are there any questions from the homework? Were there any that you had an issue with? Yes.
If you want to prove one is a rectangle, can you just straight to prove like their diagonal are like congruent?
We'll talk about that today, but
You would think, but we're gonna, after we finish today, you'll see why we cannot just jump right to that. Okay? Any other questions? Good question. All right, fantastic. All right. Well, like I said, now the rules aren't going to change very much because I'm still going to say, give me the best classification for this quadrilateral. Okay? And I'm going to give you either a diagram or I'm going to give you some coordinates. Well, if I give you the coordinates, you follow the same thing. So the very first thing you want to check, no matter what, is what do we do? Well, do I give you four vertices? If I don't give you four vertices, it's not going to be a quadrilateral. Okay, it's easy as that. But if I do give you four vertices, what's the next thing you check? If it is a parallelogram, so we go through this check. And then once we have a check here in this category, then what?
And then you proceed and see if it is a rectangle.
Okay, and then,
And then square.
well, and before square,
Oh,
rhombus, and then what happens if I go quadrilateral, yes, but parallelogram, no? How am I gonna do one of these? Well, that's, we gotta really check this. Okay, so let's think about that. Let's start with the easy one. The kite. Okay? What do you know about a kite?
They fly in the air.
They fly in the air. Good. That's actually very good. Because if we picture the ones that fly in the air, okay? If we picture the one that fly in the air, you're going like this. What are you doing? What is that?
The side angles are congruent.
Okay? It has one pair of congruent opposite angles. Okay? And we'll talk a little bit more specifically. And yes, indeed, they are on the minor diagonal. So there's a minor and a major diagonal. What do you think the minor, which one is the minor?
These two are
Well, think about it. If in this diagram, it's the one that moves this way.
Oh, it's
It's the shorter one. The minor diagonal is the shorter of the two diagonals. Okay? So the minor diagonal. So one pair of opposite angles is congruent. It is the angles on the minor diagonal. Okay? So these two are congruent.
Why is it called the minor diagonal?
It's minor axis, major axis. The minor, just a mathematical term that we use for smaller, shorter, fancy. Sounds cool. Okay. But it also has to do with, we use minor and major because when we get into further functions that we'll talk about later, they have a minor axis and a major axis. They have a relationship between those and these.
Are the top two lines and the bottom two lines congruent?
You mean this and this?
No, if this and this and this.
Okay, that's another one. What is that? Yes, we do have this and, whoops, one. We do have this, but I can't call it top and bottom because if you think about the kite, it's forever going all around like this. Okay, so I don't want to say top and bottom. But what do you know about these two sides? Are they opposite? No, they're what?
Consecutive.
They are, they're intersecting, so they are consecutive. Well, how many pairs of consecutive sides are there?
Opposite consecutive.
We can be opposite and consecutive. Opposite means that they don't touch. Consecutive means that they touch. So, how many pairs of consecutive sides are congruent? Two. Okay. Although these two are consecutive, but they're not congruent. These two are congruent and consecutive. These two are congruent and consecutive. So we have two pairs of congruent consecutive sides. Opposite sides, though, what do you know about them? Are they congruent? No. So opposite sides are not congruent. What would happen if both pairs of opposite sides were congruent? Would this thing be a kite?
No.
Oh, maybe a rhombus, but a little more generally, it would be a what? It would be a parallelogram. Both pairs of opposite angles, or excuse me, both pairs of opposite sides are congruent. Then we would have to say, okay, well, if they were opposite, well, what about consecutive? Okay, and then we could say, then it would be a rhombus because it would be consecutive. Okay, consecutive and opposite. Right? So, for a kite, one pair of opposite angles that are congruent, two pair of consecutive sides that are congruent. What else do we know about this? No parallel sides. Okay? That is great. What else? Yes?
Two pairs of consecutive sides, so then that means that you're saying that not more than that one.
Sure. Okay? It might be that this thing is tilted and the two on the left are congruent and the two on the right are congruent, but we don't go by orientation. I wish I could pick this up and move it. Then we don't go top, bottom, left, right,
I mean,
whatever.
like, doesn't it mean that the line of two dashes and the line of one dash could be congruent by your rule?
Not sure, because how many sides do we have? 4. And that's what gets tricky about this. And I know where you're going with that. Because we do have 4 sides, that means how many pairs do we have? 2 pairs. One of those pairs are congruent. The other pair is congruent. They're just not opposite pairs that are congruent. They are consecutive sides that are congruent. Because if we had opposite sides that were congruent, it would be the parallelogram. Okay, so that's why we got to throw in that consecutive sides. Okay, so that we have the distinguishing factor between parallelogram and kite. Right? But look at this thing. What else do you see in that diagram?
The diagonals.
Well, it's not congruent.
Good observation. Okay, what else?
Diagonal angle center for the longer diagonal.
The major diagonal, okay? So the major diagonal is, and you said an angle bisector? Okay. Of the angles it touches, we should put that in. The angles it touches. Okay, so yes, this major diagonal, okay, that major diagonal is an angle bisector of the 2 angles that it touches. Is it necessarily true that this minor diagonal is an angle bisector? Can it be? We want to do that because if that's the case, then we wouldn't have a kite. Okay, so it's only one. Right? We would have that rhombus. Right? So now,
This diagonal, like, does it bisect the minor? You didn't see it.
major diagonal bisects minor diagonal. Excellent. Excellent job. Now we have a full comprehensive list of everything that we know about a kite. That's very good. Now, we need to think kind of backwards. If this is all the things that we know about a kite, how would I prove that it's a kite? So if this is what we know about a kite, then how do we prove?
Prove the diagonals are perpendicular.
Prove the diagonals are?
Perpendicular.
Okay. So we need to prove diagonals perpendicular. First or second?
Would be first or second?
Is that the first thing we want to do?
Oh no, it's just one.
Okay. Well, let's think biologically. Let's put this in. What would be the first thing that we would have to do to make sure that we have a kite? Instead of proving that we do have a parallelogram, the first thing that we would do is prove that it is not a parallelogram. Okay? Because it can't be a parallelogram and have perpendicular diagonals, because then this thing would be a rhombus. Okay? And a rhombus is not a kite. So we need to prove that it is not. In other words, we need this first step in our process to get us a no. We want to get a no. So we want to check quadrilateral. First check is to always see if it's a parallelogram. If it's not, then we need to check these two. If it is, then we can check further for these three. So if we get a no, we check for a kite. Well, to check for the kite, we can get it by proving the diagonals are congruent. What would be another way? Yes. Okay, that one would be proving that there are no parallel sides. Okay, prove it because then, well, I guess if you check the length of the sides, if you went through and you checked the diagonals bisect each other, or there it is, both pairs, if you check the lengths of the sides, then you could go back and check to make sure that we have no parallel sides. Okay, I'll give you that one. Because it's going to depend on how you check for the parallelogram. No parallel sides. Okay. What's another one? Can you think of anything else? What if we didn't check the sides?
Check if the sides, opposite sides aren't,
Okay, done. They're not congruent. How would I determine whether I have a type or not? We would have to do the consecutive sides would have to be, so we would need to prove two pairs of consecutive sides. Would be congruent. Yes.
But Mr. prove two consecutive sides on but sometimes we'll be high.
Why? When?
It's like we draw stuff like this.
Okay, good point. So before all this, what kind of,
the minor diagonal does not.
well, true, okay, minor diagonals, but this goes back to, remember I said the classifications of polygons that we're going to deal with? What kind of polygon is that? Because that is a quadrilateral. But what kind of quadrilateral is that? Concave, okay? So yes, there are instances where concave polygons fall in some of these. But these, a kite, a parallelogram, a rhombus, a square, a trapezoid, are they concave? No, they are what? Convex. So when we're doing all of this, we need to keep in mind that we're talking about convex. There are different rules for concave polygons, okay? Different rules for concave polygons. Good, very good thought. Okay? Very good. All right. So, prove that we have a kite. Prove it's not a parallelogram. Prove the diagonals the diagonals are perpendicular. Prove no parallel sides. And, or prove two pairs of consecutive sides congruent. Do we have to do anything else? Is there another way that we can get this? These are pretty good. If we can get this, we can prove that it's a kite. If it's going to fall, if we prove that it's not a parallelogram, we prove that the diagonals are perpendicular. We're good. Or if I prove it's not a parallelogram, there are no parallel sides. Okay? If I do that, then if I prove this, and say I did the lengths of the sides, okay? If we only check the length of the sides, because that is a possibility. Then I check, okay, the slope. Then I go back to my lengths of the sides and see if I have two pair of consecutive sides that were congruent. Okay, so there wouldn't have to be any additional calculation if I went that route. I would just have to do two checks instead of just the one. Does that make sense? Okay, because I could come up with a situation where it's not a parallelogram, there are no parallel sides, but then it's also not a kite. It's just a generic quadrilateral. Right? Because I could have something like that, where none of these sides are congruent, but none of those sides are parallel either. Okay, so then I've got this just oddball quadrilateral. Okay, it's not a parallelogram. It's not a trapezoid is not a kite. Right? So be careful. That's a trapezoid. Okay. All right. So now we've got quadrilaterals, we've got parallelograms, and we got kites done. So we got one final check. Trapezoid. Okay? Trapezoid. What do we know about a trapezoid? Yes.
One pair of sides are parallel.
Okay. So we know exactly one pair of sides are parallel. Anything else? Well, we know that it's not a parallelogram, right? I guess we could put that in. Is there anything else that sets a trapezoid apart?
I'm not sure how to say it, but abbreviations like triangle, rectangle, triangle.
Triangle, rectangle, triangle.
Oh, yeah.
If we're breaking down into area,
Yeah,
yes,
it's
we would break this down. Now, eventually we are going to talk about the area formula for a trapezoid, and I would not have to break it down into
base
triangle.
plus base times height divided by
Okay, so when we're dealing with area, yes, we could do triangle, trapezoid, or excuse me, triangle, rectangle, and triangle on some. Some of them just one triangle and one rectangle. Okay? But is there anything else that you know is true for every single trapezoid?
I feel like I do, but I was like,
Now, what have I told you to review the Venn diagram? Do you remember in the trapezoid, I told you that there was another classification, there was a special kind of trapezoid?
Right.
You're sitting at one. What kind of trapezoid is the table you're sitting at?
I saw some.
Why isosceles trapezoid?
Because
oh, because these sides are
What are those sides? What are those called?
legs.
Legs. Okay. So we not only know a trapezoid, we also have isosceles trapezoid. So an isosceles trapezoid.
Angles that are the same.
But that's only for isosceles.
Yes. So in an isosceles trapezoid, we know it has to be a trapezoid first. Then the other part is that we know that the legs are congruent. What else? So I'm going to give you a diagram. Okay, this is kind of the way your tables look. Okay, trapezoid tables. And which ones are the legs? The parallel or the non-parallel sides? The non-parallel. So we know that this guy and this guy are parallel, but we know this guy and this guy are congruent. What else do you know?
Can the whole thing with these two are congruent, so these angles are congruent?
Which angle?
The base angle.
Let's go T, R, A, P. Which base angles? Angle T and angle R or angle T and angle P?
The opposite angle of the angle opposite the leg.
Oh, angle opposite the leg, you said. Okay, well, which one would that? So-
The side side AP would be T, and then line side would be R, which is P.
But not, this one's not opposite of that. So we don't want to say opposite because that is good. Where did that come from though?
From the isosceles triangle.
Yes, the isosceles triangle. It's exactly where it's going to come. Because this isosceles trapezoid, how did you get this? Well, you took a nice equilateral triangle. Yeah, a little morbid, but okay. You cut the head off, and there you go. All right. So if we cut this so that it's parallel, then we still know that those are congruent. And in the triangle, in the triangle, we had the isosceles triangle theorem that said that in a triangle, the angles opposite the congruent sides are congruent. So that still works. But the problem is we don't have, in a quadrilateral, we don't have angles that are opposite, so we don't want to use that wording. The wording that we do have is very similar to when we talked about this. Okay, when we talked about side, angle, side, angle, side, angle, 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 side, what two words did we talk about there that determined which one we were going to use?
In between the.
What is the one that we said in between? Not in between, but what?
Me.
In what?
Yeah.
I'm going to.
Side angle.
Okay, so we're going to go over here and we can sit. That was fun. All right.
Can you buy us some coffee?
We're so.
You guys all right?
Yeah.
Can you do some jump jacks?
No.
Yeah? Stay on the guy a little bit? Awesome. Get Jan to get up there and do a little boogie woogie like you did yesterday? That was awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
Nice job. Okay, good job. Now, back to this real quick, because I do want to finish this up and give you guys some rest time, because I know you guys have long day, long week. Okay, so let's use our fancy words. How would I say angle T and angle P? Angle T and angle P, what kind of angles are those? Okay, they are consecutive, but in a trapezoid we gave them a special name. Base angles. But angle R and angle A are base angles as well. How would I distinguish using this word included between angle T being congruent to angle R or angle T being congruent to angle P? Not quite. Use that word included.
They're included in between the parallel and congruent sides.
What are the parallel sides called?
Base.
Base. So the base angles that include
Include a base.
are base angles that include a base are congruent. Well, okay. What do you know about the base angles that include a leg? Yes.
There's some.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you cut it, like in the like cut it into like congruent
Two lines, cut by a, what do we call this? Transversal. What kind of angle are these?
corresponding.
Interior.
What kind of interior?
Oh,
Same side.
Same side interior, or consecutive interior. Same side interior angles when two parallel lines cut by a transversal. What do you know about them? Is that only true for isosceles triangles? No. Because if we have parallel sides cut by a transversal, we know that base angles that include a leg are always going to be supplementary. Because we know way back when we dealt with parallel lines, two parallel lines cut by transversal, same side interior angles are always supplementary. Okay, so that's something that we know about all trapezoids. Right? So now, what have we done with every single other quadrilateral? We've taken care of the sides, we've taken care of the angles. What else have we done? Oops. What's the one piece that we're missing from this isosceles trapezoid? what's something that's listed here?
Diagonal.
Oh, there.
Yeah. Look at your table. If you were to put in the diagonals on your table, what would happen?
The diagonals are complete.
The diagonals are congruent. Is that true for all trapezoids? No, only true for isosceles trapezoids. Okay, diagonals are congruent. So, in an isosceles trapezoid, segment TA is congruent to segment RP. Okay. Now, same thing. Now we've got everything listed. If that's what we know about trapezoids, learn how to prove it. How do we prove that we have just a generic trapezoid? What's the very first thing? First check.
It's not.
Okay, not a parallelogram. All right? Not a parallelogram. 2.
Not a kite.
Okay, not a kite. Second, in terms of parallel, how many sides must be parallel here? 2 pairs. How many sides must be parallel here? None. What's in between? What? Prove exactly one pair of parallel sides. If you prove that you have a quadrilateral with exactly one pair of parallel sides, that means there's a trapezoid. Now, what happens if we go through this and we say, okay, check quadrilateral. Yes, we have 4 vertices. Yes, it's quadrilateral. Yes, it is convex. Okay? But no, it's not a parallelogram. No, it's not a trapezoid. Yes, it is, excuse me, no, it's not a kite. Yes, it is a trapezoid. Can I stop there? No. No, why? We have to do to check to see if I can prove that it is an isosceles trapezoid. What do I have to check to see if it's an isosceles trapezoid? First thing, it must be a 1. Don't overthink this one. In order to be an isosceles trapezoid, the first thing it must be is a trapezoid, yes. Okay, prove that it is a trapezoid. Okay? Then the second thing that it has to have is, okay, so we could have the legs are congruent, or what? Yep. And then we're done.
That's it.
That's it. That's all we would have to prove. That it's a trapezoid, or that the legs are congruent. Excuse me, it's a trapezoid and the legs are congruent, or it's a trapezoid with congruent diagonals. Now you have every piece of information to prove or to classify any quadrilateral that I can give you. Now, before we talk a little bit more about trapezoids, let's revisit and put all of this back into that Venn diagram. We said at the beginning of the unit, we had this big Venn diagram. What was the overlapping thing? Quadrilaterals. So we had quadrilaterals. Inside quadrilaterals, then we had what? We had what? Kite, okay. So we had kites over here. Then we have what? Trapezoids. But now, trapezoids don't just stand alone. Because we have this guy. Where do I put this guy? Inside. Ah, inside. Very good. Okay. All of the isosceles trapezoids have to be inside the trapezoid because there are no isosceles trapezoids that are not trapezoids. Okay. In order to be in this classification, you have to be inside the bigger classification of trapezoids. All right, so now we got quadrilaterals, we got kites, we got trapezoids, we got isosceles trapezoids. The next big family is what? Parallelograms. Okay, all right. Then inside the parallelogram family, we have rhombus and rectangle. And what do I know about the rhombus and rectangle?
Yeah, the
Square. We have baby, and the baby is the square. Okay? So we had the rectangle, and we had the rhombus, and inside is the square. Now you've completed this Venn diagram. And I know it's really simple, but knowing this Venn diagram will help you when you're trying to classify. Okay? If you know this Venn diagram, you will have a much easier time when you're classifying. Because you won't make the mistake of saying, oh, well, if it's a trapezoid, it might be a kite. Or if I figure out that it has exactly one pair of parallel sides, I don't need to check for a kite. And I know it's not a parallelogram. Okay? So knowing these characteristics will help you understand when you're trying to
So we
classify.
have isosceles trapezoids is a different shape of trapezoids.
It's not different, it's just,
Special.
it's special. It's like saying that squares are special rectangles, or squares are special rhombuses. Okay? They're not different, they're just special. Okay? Kind of like all of you.
Oh.
So the size of people.
No.
They're not special.
They're super special, I don't know that. I'm super special. So you nobody went against that, you guys all agree? Alright, so, now, I want to talk a little bit, and that's why I say this, I want to talk a little bit about these special isosceles trapezoids. And I want to go back to the point that they come from an isosceles triangle. Okay? So we had an isosceles triangle way back when we dealt with this. What happens if I have these 2 points D and E that are the midpoints
Oh, so the top is the.
of those sides?
The top is equal to half.
Okay? Well, almost. The top is equal to half the bottom. Top of what?
The mid set.
Okay? If these are the midpoints, we said that we could have this segment that comes in there. And that would be the mid segment. And what do you know about this mid segment? What do you know about segment DE?
Is the half of
Half the length of
A.
the distance from A to C. What else do you know about segment DE? Okay, so you know segment DE is parallel to segment AC. We know that the mid segment in the triangle has a length that's half the length of that third side. And we know that the segment itself is parallel to that third side. Yes? Okay, let's make it an equilateral triangle. All right? Let's make it an equilateral triangle. All right? Or just an isosceles triangle. Okay? Then the mid segment is going to be congruent to the legs of the trapezoid. Excellent observation, that's very true. Because if this thing is an equilateral triangle, then this thing has a length that is half the side of the third side, but half the side of the third side is the same as there, then these three segments would be congruent. So that's an excellent observation, very good. Okay? But, I'm going to change the way that this looks. And keep that. This, from here to here, is half of here to here, yes? But it's half of here to here plus something else. Half of here to here plus here to here. How far is it from here to here?
0.
0, 0. Why would I have 0? You don't have 0, which is why it simplifies down to this, right? But when I look at this Because now, if I take this trapezoid, A, D, E, and C, now do it again. What do you think is going to happen?
Oh, it's from B, so it's half of AC plus this.
Excellent. This, we'll call it FG, just to keep consistent. The distance from F to G is half, in case you missed it, said A to C plus B to E.
Okay, why is DE so?
Why what?
Why is DE? Like why is it?
Because I know if I took this, because we know from the mid-segment that that's parallel. So now, that's parallel to that, yes? Okay, from our triangle. So now we know this, but now what happens if I take this leg and this leg and I put in the midpoints, because they're segments, I can find the midpoint of any segment, and then I connect the midpoints of those segments. Well, that's going to be the same principle that gave me this, so I know that segment FG. What do I know about segment FG? Well, it's got to be bigger than segment DE, but smaller than segment AC. Well, how much? What happens when you take two things, you add them together, and then divide by 2? Their average. This is also called the mid-segment. Okay, it's the mid-segment on the trapezoid.
Mid-segment of
Okay.
the mid-segment.
It's the mid-segment of the mid-segment. Don't confuse this, okay? If this is confusing, you try to go from here to here, just take it from the trapezoid side. Okay? We've gone through this. We know this. That if I take the midpoints of two sides of the triangle and connect them, it's parallel to the third side, and as it like this, half of that third side. Okay, that's done. Now, we separate them. Back in Euclid's time, the man who invented or created or discovered, whichever your viewpoint is, geometry, right? We talked about it before. But Euclid didn't keep these separate. When Euclid said that when we connect the midpoints of the sides of the triangle, we have that relationship. Well, he took it a step further. He said, okay, well, what happens now? Now I've got this new shape. Well, connect the midpoints again. What's going to happen? Well, what's something that you know about this segment? Forget about this thing for a second. What do you know about these three segments? Parallel. So right now, we know that segment FG is parallel to segment DE, as well as being parallel to segment AC. Okay? Because it's the same distance from each of those segments all the way through it. Well, the same distance from each of those segments all the way through, we know that's the definition of parallelism. Now, what he did is he went back and he proved this, and there's a way to get this. Okay? Get this one. When you use that, that's where that 0 comes in. It's the average. In that triangle, it's not just half the length of the third side. It's it's the average between 0, because that's how long that third side in that triangle is. As we look at this, there is no distance between that 0 and this. Well, if I take 0 and this, two things, add them up and divide by 2, that's the average. Same thing comes here. Take this distance, add in this distance, two things, add them up, divide by 2, it's the average. So the mid-segment has a length that is the average length of the two bases. Okay? You have two bases in the trapezoid. If you add the lengths, divide by 2, that's how long that mid-segment is going to be. And we can do this again and again and again and again and again. I can take the top trapezoid, take the midpoints of those, connect those. It's going to be parallel to all three of those sides. This segment will have a length that is half of the sum of this plus this. And then I can take it again, and then take those bases, and again and again. And I can do this as many times as I want. It's always going to be true. It's always going to be parallel to the bases, and it's always going to be the average of the lengths of the bases. All stemming from that triangle. Okay, so you see where we start to talk about things, and then they come full circle when we go to the next piece. We keep them separate in today's geometry, in original geometry, in the time where this was discussed. These were not separate, these were together. They're only separate now. Okay? Because the publisher of your textbook likes to separate them. The curriculum designer likes to separate them. Okay? To be honest, I kind of put them together. We alluded to this before. Because remember I told you we were going to revisit this thing. Okay? Well, we're revisiting it now. So they're not completely separate. Sometimes, I'll be honest, I teach them together at the same time. Okay? It's just depends on the way the curriculum is set up at the school. This school, the curriculum was set up that we discussed to be consistent with other classes. We set it up so that we talk about the midsegment and the triangle while we're dealing with triangles. Okay. In the past, I dealt with mid-segments of triangles when I was dealing with mid-segments of trapezoids at the same time. So it's just a 6-1 half dozen deal, the same thing. Okay. That's it. Don't you wish? All right. No, but what I will do. Now I know we were that close to getting off the hook. What I will do is I'll give you a very easy assignment.
Thank you.
This way. Easy because you've already done the hard part of this assignment. Your last night's homework I took from this paper. Sorry? Why would you have to do it again? That's crazy. No. Oh. Okay, so last night, or the other night, I should say, you guys had the coordinate geometry stuff? You had all of us coordinate? Well, those are the 6 problems that are listed there. That's where I got the classroom examples and the homework problems that we went through. It's from here. So no, you do not have to do those again. Okay? All the ones that say coordinate geometry. Where it says 13, 14, 15 on the one side, 9, 10, 11 on the other side. Okay? So yes, you can skip those. You've already done them. All right? The rest of it is, it's kind of a half step back. It's only dealing with rectangles, parallelograms, rhombuses, and squares. So there are no trapezoids or kites on this. Okay, we've done a lot of coordinate geometry stuff. This is more of the traditional working problems with the diagrams and the algebra. So we're going to do this with the rectangles, rhombuses, the squares, and parallelograms. Then we'll do that with the trapezoids, and then we'll start to put it all together with the coordinates and the algebra, and move from there. Yeah. Okay, so since you guys are a little drinking, all right, here you go. This is gonna rest on you. Here. Tell you what, to make it in, you have a free period for the rest of the period. I'll close it.
No pressure. Yeah, you never said I had to make it from there. You never said I had to make it from there.
All right.
Yes, okay, actually.
You caught me on that, okay? Great area.
Let's see.
This one and that.